Hello all, welcome to Sakti's AI Junction. This video is a continuity of our Llama Index series, and today's topic is querying. So, if you remember, we have seen loading, indexing, storing, and querying stages in our previous videos. Sorry, we have seen till that storing, and this video will be talking about querying. Okay, let's do a quick recap. So, we have seen how to ingest the data, how to create embeddings and store the data into a DB, vector DB, and how to retrieve the data from the stored vector DB. Okay, so this topic will be about querying and how do we ask the questions and query. How do we ask questions and retrieve the relevant data and get the final response from our LLM. Okay, so Llama Index provides two types of chat engines. Sorry, engines. One is a query engine, other one is a chat engine. The query engine does not remember the chat history, whereas chat engine remembers the chat history. So remember, in query engine, each question will act as a uh, individual or a separate question, meaning you cannot ask a follow-up question pertaining to your earlier question. Whereas chat engine, it is similar to how our chat GPT works. It remembers a previous context. So whenever you ask a follow-up question, and even though the follow-up question doesn't have the relevant context, it looks the chat history and it sets the follow-up question accordingly. We will look into that with some examples. Okay, I have chosen Chroma DB. This is from our previous videos. So the Chroma DB, the first step initializing the Chroma client, and the second step is to define a Chroma collection. The Chroma collection name is RAG, and the third step is to create a vector store with the created chroma collections. And the fourth step is to create a storage context based on the vector store we have created. And the final step is to have the index created based upon the uh, vector store. Okay, let's go into step by step. So I have loaded that World War II data. If you look at, so it is from that storage. Yeah, not storage. Data. So I have loaded all these data, World War One, World War Two, Parliament One, Parliament Two. Those things I have executed at the very beginning itself. So it will be covered at the top. See, the data folder has been loaded completely. So 4 files has been loaded. Okay, now let's go back to the querying part. Okay, the first one is a query engine. So this is a pretty straight forward engine where we can ask the questions to the LLM, and LLM will fetch the context from our from the index, and it will respond accordingly. So the question what I'm going to ask is like somebody of World War II. If I ask this question, see the response whatever we got is correct. World War II, spanning from 1939 to 1945, involved major global powers forming two opposition alliances, Axis powers, Germany, Italy, Japan, so on so, so on so, so on so. Okay, now I can ask a follow-up question when World War II happened. So this is a follow-up question which is directly asking about World War II. Okay, so instead of this, if I write it about when it happened, so if I ask about when it happened, so it is taking the context of World War One. Why? The reason is I didn't mention whether it is World War One or World War Two. The previous question talk about World War Two, but this query engine will not remember about the previous chat conversations. Okay, that's the reason it took its own context and it has given the response. So in this case, for query engine, we have to give the precise context in our question itself. So when I'm changing the question to when World War II happened. So if I change this question to like this, then it will give 1939 to 1945. This is correct. So the gist is for query engine, you have to give a detailed a question that has a context in it. Let's go to chat engine. So there are six modes: contents, question, context, contents plus context, simple, best, react. So I will cover the major or the important chat modes. The first is the contents question. Execute. Okay. Now I'm asking the same set of I'm asking a different question. In which year Winter War took place? Okay. So in which year Winter War took place? The Winter War took place in 1940. Now I'm asking a follow-up question. Which countries are part of it? See, Russia and Finland were the countries involved in the Winter War that took place in 1940. Okay. So okay. ah, so if you look at the difference between these two questions, the second question doesn't have a context. Which countries are part of it? So it could be anything, right? I just mentioned as it could be World War One or World War Two or anything. But since our previous question talks about Winter War, so it has rephrased the question like which countries were involved in the Winter War that took place in 1940. So then it is given answer like it took place in 1940. So this is how that the contents question works. So based upon the previous chat history, the follow-up question, rewrites himself, I mean the LLM rewrites the follow-up question based upon the context of the previous question. So this is a one of the best way to have chat engines for mobile applications. So this works very well. Okay. And the second question is like a kind of a context. Okay. Second chat mode is a context. So context, what it does is right. Let me execute 1940. Okay. So this also it is similar to query engine. Okay. Meaning what it does is like along with that system information, it does adds the lot of what is that the retrieved indexes as well. Okay. So and if I ask this one, Finland and Soviet Union. Wait, okay. So let's say imagine this is the payload that we used to give to our LLM. Okay, this is how we make a request, HTTP request, and we send the payload, right? So we define a system prompt. You are a helpful assistant. Respond with a concise and accurate information. And the user like which year the winter war took place. So what the second chat mode, context chat mode does is like along with the context system information, it does add the retrieved indexes or the retrieved text. Okay, so meaning retrieved text in the sense like the top five vectors, right? So the top five matching documents will have the relevant chunks, right? So all those chunks will be added here. Okay, so when you are asking the question, the chatbot will either respond from the context by looking at the retrieved text, or it can answer from its own knowledge base where it has been trained upon. So this is the context chat mode. Okay, and this is this is not widely or most preferably used because here you are passing that relevant chunks in the context and you are asking to asking the chatbot to answer either look at the context or it can answer from the knowledge information where it has been trained upon. So there could be a chance of data leakage as well. Data leakage meaning like it can answer from its own knowledge which has been trained upon. So for most of our RAG cases, which we don't need it, I mean, we want our RAG precisely to look for the context information, whatever we are telling him. Like when we pull the top five matching documents, we tell the RAG, hey, this is the top five matching chunks. Pull the relevant document only from this. So for those cases, this context chat mode will not work out. And there is a one more third chat. chat mode, which overcomes that context. Chat mode is a condense plus context, meaning it combines both first and the second way. What it does is like, okay, let's go to the same question. In which year winter war took place? 1940, and the follow-up question. Finland and Soviet Union. So what this does is like, so it rewrites the follow-up question as well as it adds the retrieved text in the system prompt. Okay. So if you look at the first chat mode contents question, it only rewrites the follow-up question, but it does not add any system retrieved text in the system prompt. Whereas the context, it will add only the relevant text or that chunks, pieces of chunks in the system prompt. The third one, condense plus context, is combines both for both effective retrieval. Okay, meaning once you got the retrieval, this will be best suitable for more, the question will be rephrased correctly as well as you are also sending the context. So in this way, most likely the LLM would be able to answer from the context itself because your question is well rephrased. Okay, so this is one way of having chat engine. The other three things are pretty straight. I like simple means like it directly answers from its own knowledge base. Own knowledge base meaning that and the knowledge base which has been trained upon. Like, but you cannot pause. I mean, it does not rely on the retrieval data, meaning you are retrieving the top 3 to 5 documents, right? So it won't answer from that retrieved documents rather than it responds from its own knowledge base. Okay, that is a simple chat engine. So here, in which year winter war took place? So it is not looking from our own documents. It is looking from its own repository, which has been trained upon. Okay, so this where it will fail. So this simple will fail when the LLM trained upon, right? The knowledge base where the LLM has been trained upon doesn't have the latest data. So let's say if your document or if your own document has the latest data, and if the data is not part of the knowledge base where the LLM has been trained upon, then the simple will fail out. Okay, and the best and the react or it's kind of it's a forcing the LLM to act as a tool, meaning if let's say if you want to execute some steps. Okay, let's say you are asking the LLM to write a Python script or something, and you are manually executing it. Rather than that, you can have a tool that can fetch or write instructions like, okay, write a Python tool. On top of that, you will give the some steps how to execute the same Python script. So this will act as a tool. So for those kind of for those things we can use that best and React. Okay. So this is all. This is a short video. This is all I wanted to cover on the different chat engines and the query engines. So the more you experiment with those available combinations, you will see like which is the best suitable for your application. And we will see on another topic in the next video. Thank you all.